guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm just gonna pull you a little closer here. Perfect, excellent. Okay, so, no, I'm gonna move you again. Okay, so today's video I have been wanting to make for a little while, except I couldn't get my hands on the palette because I was honestly too lazy to just go out and get it. So, that's true. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today was the Urban Decay Wired Palette. With this palette, I have seen a lot of positive reviews on Sephora, and that's where I got this from, by the way. And I don't know how true those reviews are, in all honesty, because sometimes I find great stuff and it has a review of like, if people could write no stars, they would, and it's excellent. With this though, I believe it has 4 to 4.5 stars at present. I don't know how it got that, but what we're also gonna do is compare it to the original Urban Decay OG electric palette. Now, if you don't know, the wired palette, the new one, is more or less a reboot of the electric palette, and I will explain why. So the look that I have done today, these eyes here, this was done exclusively with the wired palette. Now, I'll just open it up here in case you haven't seen it. And the box is really super cool. I really like that. That's what the box looks like. Urban Decay always comes through with their artwork. Their artwork is always fantastic. So hats off to them for the artwork department for doing that. And there is the back with all the color story on it. And this is a pressed pigment palette. And you get 10 pans, 0.04 ounces or a 1.2 grams. Now there is a whole collection with this. Lip stains or lip oils or very sheer glosses in a bunch of quite bright colors. And they also have some eyeliner that is black but goes to glitter. That is not available. It's Sephora in store, which is where I got this. I thought it might be, but it is online only. So I only was able to pick up this palette. So this is what the component actually looks like. It's actually really, really cool. It has raised lettering here. The wired lettering is actually all raised, and it's really nice plastic. It's quite heavy, so it doesn't feel cheap in my opinion. And there is no shade names on the back, just the ingredients, if my camera will focus. No. No. Okay. So we open the palette up. Now this is a bit dusty because, like I said, I have used it, and that is the inside of the palette there. Part of what Urban Decay has done this time, which they didn't do in the electric palette, was on this side is for just face and body only, these 4 colors here, and then all 6 of these colors you can use on eyes, face, and body. They recommend that you don't use these on your eyes solely because of staining is why I would think that they're recommended not on the eyes. However, I put them on my eyes because I don't really care about staining. All it says is for face and body, for face, body, and eye, and they have separated them this time. Now, like I said, I put them on my eyes. I will let you know in the description below if it did stain. I expect it to. I did use an eye base, however, I still do get a mild amount of staining. Honestly, I just take my eye base the next morning and cover that up, so it's not a big deal for me. In this wired edition, you do not get a brush. With the original palette, you got a little brush, which was kind of nice. And now I'm going to show you both palettes stacked on top of each other for the sake of comparison. So there we go. You have the new wired palette on the top, and you have the original Urban Decay electric palette on the bottom. As you can see, they are extremely similar. So similar, in fact, that a few of the shade names are exactly the same. We have Savage is the exact same here. We have Chaos, exact same. I believe Jolt. No, Jolt is not. Slow Burn is the same, only both slow burns are wildly different. One is more matte and one is more sparkly. These are the two, so my fingers all over. These are the 2 slow burns. Okay, but as you can see, the Chaoses, the blues, this Chaos here, is almost identical to, I believe that's Chaos down there. And then you have 2 white shades. I don't really know what's going on with the white shades, but they're usable. I put them on the inner corners of my eye. We are going to go straight into this palette and the critique of the palette. This basically blends into nothing. This was so hard for me to work with. Just trying to get the finer details, the blue around here, I don't know if you can see that, but when I was putting the orange on, if it bumped the blue, the fluorescent color, it would basically disappear. I had to take a very small detailed brush, this guy here, physically draw the blue on in order to get it to stay, and then take another small little brush, this one here, it's still covered in orange, and physically press the orange on. So I don't have hopes that this is actually going to not roll in to my creases and completely disappear. I don't think I have ever worked with a palette where the colors literally just poof, and they're gone. I don't think I've ever worked with a palette that behaves this way. Now, I obviously did not use every single color. I did use Glitch, so I used the white, the fluorescent, Switch, and I used Chaos. Now, do I think the palette is worth, what was it, $59 Canadian? No, I don't. Would I buy this if it was on sale? Probably if it was on sale, depending on the price, but the original Chaos palette performs so much better. And because, if you can find this anywhere, pick this up. Because the colors are so much brighter in this palette than the ones that are on my eyes right now. These are very, very muted compared to this palette. I had to really pack these new colors on just to get them to appear, because like I said, they disappeared. This palette is dusty AF. Like, it literally, you put, I'll see if I can show you here. Oh, I don't know if my camera can catch it. I can see the literal dust bits. Like look at all this. This palette is so dusty. It is ridiculous. Like, you will tap this off in your sink and it's just going to be everywhere. Whereas the original palette does not do that. So if you can find the original palette just for the bold, vivid colors, pick this up. This is nowhere near as bold. It's nowhere near as bright. You do have to really pack it on. And because the colors are almost identical, finding this would probably be your best bet. In order to show you what I mean, I wanted to compare a couple of colors from each palette. That's Glitch. That's the white that I'm talking about in the new palette. I mean, you basically can't even see it. And then here's Revolt, the gray in the original. It's basically all sparkles, but at least it reads. Now, I've gone over that 4 times. See what I mean? Like, it just, let's go with the 2 blues, the 2 Chaoses. We'll see how identical those are. That one is old. This one is new, and that is 1 swipe each. So that is original OG palette, and that is new palette. So those are relatively similar, but I think the patchiness is worse with the new one. And I didn't bring out any. Hey guys, okay, so we ran away to get some wipes here, and then I thought, there's a dirty wipe, then I thought, instead of me doing the swatches live, because that would take forever, I just did them like while the camera was off. These are 1 pass swatches from each one of the palettes. Now obviously I can't show you on this arm because that wouldn't work, so I had to use 1 arm for everything, which gets a little messy. If you have the original, do I think you need to invest in the new one? No, I do not. Not unless you really like colors that are not in the original palette. Like Current here is not in, where the heck is it? Current here is not in the original palette. So that color actually is really, really pretty. You could buy the palette. But again, the palette is $59. So for that 1 color, I wouldn't say it's necessarily worth it unless it's something that you have to have. I would definitely recommend that to maybe go to Sephora if you have one close to you and check it out before you buy it or before you order it online to avoid disappointment. Because like I said, the reviews on Sephora are very good considering how this actually turned out on my eyes and how I think this is going to wear over the course of the evening, and given how similar these actually are. I mean, once again, these are pretty the same. So I just wanted to show you guys that. I just wanted to give you my personal thoughts on it, my true thoughts on it, how it actually performed. It's on my eyes. We're gonna see how it performs later and how long this is actually gonna stay before it literally disappears into nothing. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you guys on the next one. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. Do you have this palette? Do you like it? Are you thinking about picking it up? Just let me know. Questions, comments, feedback down below, and I will see you guys on the next one.